Hey guys, this is Ben and Austin from Tabus Nine Computing, here to demo our new live wallpaper, the Game of Life live wallpaper. It's based on Conway's Game of Life, so every square that you see here is a cell in Conway's Game of Life, so they live and die depending on how many neighbors they have, and as you can see they fade in and out, and it makes a pretty nice effect. We apologize in advance for the length of this video because there are just so many features that we need to demo that, it's just going to take a little while. So the very first thing you see here is our widget at the top, and we made this for your convenience because on many phones it takes too many clicks, you go through too many menus to get to the wallpaper settings menu, whereas with this widget you can just click on the settings button here and you get straight into the settings menu, so it's much faster, much easier. So the very first aspect of customizability here we can look at is under general settings, and it is the cell size. So you can change the size of the cells, change it to large, and you can see that the cells become very large. And what's nice is that the cells will always be square. They will always fit your screen perfectly because of sizing algorithms that we've put together. So no matter what screen you have, the cells, it all fit nice, it all look nice.
You should show them the extra small setting too.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. You can make the cells very small, and so you get lots and lots of very tiny cells. And let's change it back to medium. And the other thing that you can change is transition time. And that's basically how fast the fading happens, how fast the simulation happens. And so it's currently at 1.5 seconds. If it was 3 or 4 seconds, you'd see that the fading would be very slow. And you can speed it up to 1/10 of a second, and it happens all very fast and looks crazy.
And probably decrement the performance, though.
Yeah. And so here, obviously the most customizable piece of this whole puzzle is the coloring of the cells. They can be all sorts of different colors, so we have 5 display modes that control how the cells are colored. And the very first one is simple, it's just a solid color. You pick any one of 16 million colors in here, we can change it to blue. And you can see that when we come back out,
that is definitely purple.
That's purple, okay. The cells are purple, and they'll always be purple, so it's just a very simple way to go about doing it. Or we can change to by cell age, which is a little more complex. It involves palettes, which are just groups of colors that you can put together, and we'll demo that in a minute. And it's based on how long each cell has been alive. And so if they've been alive for a shorter number of generations or smaller number of generations, they will be colors that are earlier in the palette, and if they've been alive for longer, they'll be colors that are later in the palette. And so you can see here that older cells are orange because orange is at the end of the palette, and younger cells are blue because it's more blue toward the beginning of the palette. And if we take a look at another display mode, by time of day is kind of fun because it'll change as the day progresses, so it always looks different. You can see here in the current time palette, this is a preview of what the color of your cells will be as the day progresses. So in the middle here at noon, all the cells will be bright green. And toward the evening they'll turn blue, and at midnight they'll be purple. And in the morning they'll be red. So if we take a look at what it looks like right now, it's kind of pinkish or purplish because it's about 1 in the morning right now. And if we waited till later, it would turn red, etc., etc. And just as you can create palettes for the by cell age display mode, you can create palettes for the by time of day, so we'll go over that in a minute as well. Next display mode is by battery power. And what this does is it colors your cells from green to yellow to red as your battery dies. So if your battery was full, it would be green. In the middle, as it is now on Austin's phone here, it's yellow. And as your phone is dead, it becomes red until your phone is dead, and then it's black.
So because your phone is off.
And so the very last display mode here is kind of fun. It's by touch. And what that means is that no matter, or you can click anywhere on the screen, and based on where you click on the screen, the cells will be a different color. So it's kind of fun. It always changes, and you can make it whatever color you can find there on the screen. So we'll go back to cell age before we talk about the other aspects, because I want to talk about palettes here. So the wallpaper comes with 5 palettes, and you can select any one of these palettes. So if we select this bottom one and come back out, you can see the palette changes to more purpley green, because those are the colors involved in the palette. And what's really pretty awesome is that you can create your own palettes. So if we go into make a palette and select a color, the very first color is this red, and you can add more colors, say green, maybe add another color of blue in here, and you can see a preview of your palette. And so you can see that this palette is only 3 colors. You can make palettes 20 colors, or 1 color, 2 colors, however many colors you want. And so when we're done editing, we can name a palette. We'll name this pretty, I suppose, because it might look pretty. And then you can see that your new palette is in here, and it'll be saved, so it never goes away even if you shut off your live wallpaper. So we can select our new palette and come back out, see how it looks. Yeah, it looks so, it's kind of Christmassy.
A little Christmassy, yeah.
So if we come back to select a palette, say we didn't like our palette, so we can edit it. And with editing, we can add new colors just as if we were making a new palette. So you can see a 4th color is in here, this orange color. And say we don't like the blue, we can edit the blue to be pink here. Or we can delete green. We don't like green. And so you can see it offers you a lot of freedom here. So we can select our new palette again, come back out, and you can see our palette changes to the 3 colors that we ended up with when we were done editing. So next up in the palettes discussion is the time palettes. They're very similar to regular palettes, except that every color is associated with a different time of the day. So let's take a look at this one. Oops. Edit palette. So here we're editing a palette that came with it. It has 3 colors, and you can see that the first color is associated with 8:20 in the morning. And so that means that at 8:20 in the morning, your cells will be this color. And then they'll fade as the day goes on, and at 1:53 they'll be this yellow color, and at 10:13 they'll be this blue color, and they'll just fade between them as the day goes on. And so if you want to add a new color, if you're making a palette, in fact we can make a whole new palette for ourselves. When we add a time color, say this red color, we can say I want it to be red at 3 in the morning. And then we can, this doesn't usually turn out too well, but if we take a green color and say at noon, 12 p.m., we want it to be green. You can see in the fadey areas this one's kind of sludgy, so let's go to blue and put a blue in the late afternoon, so 5 p.m. And you can get a preview here of what it'll look like throughout the day, your colors. You can edit the colors, edit the time. So if we say we want green to show up later, we can do that. We can do it down to the minute here. And at 1:03 it'll be green. So when we're done editing, we can name our palette. I'll just name it time. And then our new palette shows up. We can select this palette, and it's 1 in the morning, so we get this kind of not sure how to describe that color, but it's kind of reddy. So and so as you can see, again, this offers you a whole lot of freedom. And so say you don't like a palette at all, you can just delete it and it's gone. And so next up, if we come, I'm gonna switch the display mode back to cell age and select our old palette. So if we come back, we're back on the home screen, and I'll explain the rest of the widget here. So there are 3 more buttons. There's the pause button that pauses the simulation right in its tracks, and when it's paused, you can actually go in and make cells alive or kill cells or whatever you would like, and then they'll be back in the simulation when you resume. And the other way to pause is to triple click your screen, and it'll pause and unpause the same way. And just a quick disclaimer, the triple click doesn't work on all phones. We've had one phone tested where it doesn't actually work for some reason. So the other button over here is a reset button. Say your simulation gets boring and you don't like it, so you can click reset, and it will go through and create, couldn't see the big difference there, but it will set up a new simulation for you so that it's not boring. And what's nice is that by default it will automatically do the resetting for you. It can detect when your background looks boring if it's just flipping between two things, and it'll reset it for you. And that's something that you can shut off if you'd like. You can see it did it just right there. And so the last button is a clear button. It just kills everything, wipes it all out. So you can see it reset itself because a totally blank screen is kind of boring, but if we head here into general settings and shut off automatic game reset, then when we clear it, it'll stay clear. And this is useful for when you want to enter in your own patterns like a glider and have it glide around. It'll never think that this is boring and reset it because you shut that off. And so one of the last things we wanted to talk about were the limitations of the free version, because there's a free version and a paid version, or full version. And the free version does not come with the widget, and it only has two display modes, the solid color and the touch. So you won't get cell age, you won't get by time of day, and you won't get battery power.
Which are the coolest ones.
Which are, yes, the coolest ones. And there's also a banner ad, excuse me, there's a banner ad in the settings menu just because we need to support ourselves. So if you want to treat yourself to the full version, you can, and you'll get everything that you've seen here. And
Did
so
you say the widget is only the full version?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
And so there are several links in the description. There's a link to the light version, a link to the full version, so you can check those out, give us some feedback, see what you think. There's also a link to our Facebook page, which it would be awesome if you liked it so we can get a bigger fan base here. And we, so, excuse me, we also have an announcement. There's a competition. If you tag us in your status and direct people, your friends, to our page who then like our page, the person whose status brings us the most likes will get
both of our paid apps for free.
Yes, exactly. Both of our paid apps. We've put out another app called Modulus, which is a math game. You'll get that for free. You'll get the full version of the live wallpaper for free. And so that's big incentive to redirect people to our Facebook page, which would be great. So thanks for watching, and thanks for sticking through the whole thing. And we hope to see you buying our apps and rating our apps. Thank you very much.